Preview, USA, Germany, prediction, team news, lineups. The Julian Nagelsmann era begins on Saturday for Euro 2024 hosts Germany, who continue their sequence of friendlies against the USA at the Pratt Whitney Stadium in Conneticut. The Yanks have triumphed in their last two exhibition games over Uzbekistan and Oman by an aggregate score of 7-0, while Die Mannschaft saw France under the temporary tutelage of Rudi Voller last time out. Match preview. While the USA's upcoming visitors are entering a new managerial epoch, the Yanks have been reacclimatising to life under World Cup coach Gregg Berhalter, who returned to the hot seat over the summer following a troubled few months of off-field controversies. During Berhalter's sabbatical, BJ Callaghan secured CONCACAF Nations League glory with the USA before overseeing the defense of their Gold Cup crown, which ended in semi-final penalty heartbreak to Panama. And the 42-year-old subsequently handed the reins back over to Berhalter. A pair of home friendlies with Uzbekistan and Oman represented a kind second baptism for Berhalter, whose side hit the former for 3 without reply before putting 4 unanswered goals past Oman thanks to Voller and Callaghan. Ricardo Pepi, Brendan Aronson, and a Khalid Al-Breiki own goal. Receiving a bye into the quarterfinals of the ongoing CONCACAF Nations League, the USA, whose last 8 opponents are yet to be determined, will also warm up for their return to competitive action with a friendly against Ghana next week, as Berhalter's men endeavor to prolong their golden streak in front of goal. Indeed, the Stars and Stripes have found the back of the net in each of their last 12 fixtures across all tournaments since a goalless stalemate with Colombia in January, while only 6 goals have flown past them at the other end of the field across their last 14 friendly home contests. Unparalleled domestic success with Bayern Munich did not translate into international stardom for ex-Germany boss Hansi Flick, who oversaw a disastrous period of spring and summertime friendlies in the wake of another premature World Cup exit for Die Mannschaft. Alongside a captivating 3-3 stalemate with Ukraine, all of Belgium, Colombia, Poland, and Japan, the latter of whom stormed to a 4-1 crushing, put the Euro 2024 hosts to the sword. And that final embarrassing loss to the Samurai Blue unsurprisingly proved to be the final nail in Flick's coffin. Legendary marksman Rudi Voller was placed in temporary charge for last month's visit of France to the Signal Iduna Park, where Germany experienced the true meaning of a new manager bounce, defeating the 2022 World Cup runners-up 2-1 courtesy of Thomas Muller and Leroy Sané's efforts. Voller and his 100% record now make way for fresh blood in Nagelsmann, who was linked with a host of European powerhouses before assuming office in his homeland. And the ex-Bayern head coach will also lead Die Mannschaft into another exhibition contest with Mexico in Philadelphia later this month. Antoine Griezmann's late consolation for France in September means it is now 6 games without a clean sheet for Germany, though. And the USA have actually prevailed in back-to-back friendlies with Die Mannschaft either side of a 1-0 World Cup 2014 loss, most recently triumphing 2-1 in June 2015 under another one of the visitors' favorite sons, Jurgen Klinsmann. Team news: German-born attacker Malik Tillman, who now plies his trade with PSV Eindhoven, will not have the chance to build on the 6 caps he has already won for his nation this month, as the 21-year-old withdrew from the squad with a minor injury earlier this week. Tillman joins a lengthy list of notable absentees, which also includes Anthony Robinson, Tyler Adams, and Zach Steffen, while Borussia Dortmund protege Giovanni Reina has been called up but is not expected to be thrown back into the deep end as he builds up his match fitness. As such, Aronson could potentially earn a midfield start alongside Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie in the Trident, while in-form Monaco new boy Callaghan enters the October break on the back of registering 4 goal contributions in his last 4 League One appearances, 3 of his own and 1 assist. Similarly, Germany head coach Nagelsmann is also working around a surfeit of injuries ahead of his inaugural fixture, as none of Serge Gnabry, Manuel Neuer, Matthias Ginter, or Benjamin Henrichs were available for selection, while Timo Werner, Nico Schlotterbeck, and Umre can have been overlooked. However, the Mannschaft manager has called upon a quartet of uncapped names, notably rewarding Union Berlin hotshot Kevin Behrens with a maiden call-up, while Oliver Baumann, Robert Andrich, and Chris Furyk are also eyeing their first minutes for the national team. Spots on the bench most likely await each of the four fringe players, though, as Nagelsmann reunites captain Ilkay Gundogan with Joshua Kimmich in mid-F. Yield, and the 36-year-old is said to have tested out a 4-2-2-2 setup during his earliest training sessio. NSUSA possible starting lineup: Turner, Dest, Robinson, Richards, Lund, McKennie, Musa, Aronson, Weah, Balogun, Pulisic. IC, Germany possible starting lineup: Ter Stegen, Thaya, Süle, Rudiger, Raum, Kimmich, Gundogan, Sane, Musiala, Füllkrug, Mu. We say USA 1-2 Germany. A change in management worked wonders for Germany when France made a brief stopover last month, and while Nagelsmann may take some time to fully implement his methods, Die Mannschaft can fight fire with fire to get off to the perfect start under the 36-year-old. The USA are rarely shut out in front of their own fans and should be back to breach a permeable German backline, but the visitors' enviable talent up top can come good to secure back-to-back wins for the first time in 7 months. How Germany could line up against the USA. Germany head coach Julian Nagelsmann is reported to have experimented with a 4-2-2-2 setup ahead of his first game in charge of Die Mannschaft, which comes in the form of a friendly with the USA on Saturday. The former Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig boss takes control of the reins as Hansi Flick's permanent successor, while also seeking to follow in Rudi Voller's footsteps after the ex-striker led his nation to a 2-1 win over France in his first and only game in charge last month. A handful of injuries have depleted the German ranks, with all of Manuel Neuer, Serge Gnabry, Benjamin Henrichs, and Matthias Ginter out of contention, while Borussia Dortmund duo Emre Can and Nico Schlotterbeck have been omitted alongside Timo Werner. As Neuer continues to recover from his devastating broken leg, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen's stint in between the sticks will continue, most likely with Niklas Süle and Antonio Rudiger as his protective shield. With no recognized right back in the ranks, Malik Thaya ought to fill that role for the time being, as David Raum fends off Robin Gosens for a start on the left-hand side of the backline. Leon Goretzka might be consigned to a cameo role as Joshua Kimmich joins captain Ilkay Gundogan in the engine room, while Leroy Sane and the effervescent Jamal Musiala should operate just ahead of the duo. As Kai Havertz flatters to deceive at Arsenal, Niklas Füllkrug and Thomas Muller are primed to get the nod in attack, as the latter seeks a 46th Mannschaft goal to overtake Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and become his nation's outright fifth highest male scorer of all time. Germany possible starting lineup: Ter Stegen, Thaya, Süle, Rudiger, Raum, Kimmich, Gundogan, Sane, Musiala, Füllkrug, Muller.